The Princess and the Wizard. It was Princess Eliza's birthday. She was just blowing out the 7 candles on her cake when a wicked wizard flew down the chimney and into the room. This is the wicked wizard, and this is Princess Eliza. "Why didn't you invite me to your party?" he thundered. So the wicked wizard is so angry because no one invited him to the party. "Because wicked wizards like turning people to stone," replied Princess Eliza. So Princess Eliza said, "We never invite you because you always turn people into stone." "So they do," said the wizard, and with a flick of his bony fingers, he turned the king and queen and all the party guests into stone. Oh dear. Then he laughed a horrible laugh and said to Princess Eliza, "They like capturing princess too." So he's gonna capture and catch the princess now. Just then, there was a whirling of winds, and in through the window flew the princess fairy godmother. So this is the princess fairy godmother. It's a good fairy godmother. When she saw what had happened, she waved her wand and said, "The princess may try 7 times to escape by changing her color and changing her shape." So the fairy godmother said that my princess is going to try to escape from you 7 times, and she can change her color and change her shape. But the wizard just laughed his horrible laugh, ha 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 ha, and said, "Changing her color and changing her shape will never help Princess Eliza escape." So she said no matter how much Princess Eliza tried to change her shape or color, she will never escape. Then he snapped his bony fingers again and turned the fairy godmother to stone. Oh dear, when the fairy godmother became stone. The wizard whisked the princess up the chimney and carried her away to his tall, dark castle. Oh dear. He locked her into the cellar where she cried herself to sleep. The next day was Monday. The wizard unlocked the cellar door. He was holding the big red book which contained all his magic. So this is a magic book that the wizard has. "This is your first chance to escape," he said. "I shall count to 100 and then I shall come and find you." So the wizard told the princess, "Okay, now you can escape. I'm going to count to 100, and if I find you, I'll catch you again." He opened his book, closed his eyes, and began to count. Princess Eliza ran outside. The moat, this is the moat, okay? The moat of the castle shone blue under the blue sky. She jumped into the water and turned herself into a blue fish. So look, this is Princess Eliza. She turned herself into a blue fish. 98, 99, 100. The wizard opened his eyes, looked in his magic book and read, "To find where Eliza is hiding from you, look in the moat for the fish that is blue." So wow, you know the wizard's magic book? The wizard's magic book actually tells the wizard where Eliza is. So now the wizard knows where Eliza is because the magic book told him. So he fished Eliza out of the moat and took her to his kitchen, which was full of blue plates and pots and pans. They were all covered in dried up food. "So you like blue, do you?" he said. Then set to work and wash, and he locked her in. Oh dear. On Tuesday morning, the wizard unlocked the kitchen door. He looked at the clean plates and pots and pans and he grunted. "Chance number 2, he said. So the wizard said, "Okay, I'm going to give you another chance to escape." Then he opened his book, closed his eyes and began to count. Princess Eliza ran to the farmyard. She turned herself into a yellow chick over here and hid in some straw. But the wizard read in his book, remember his magic book can tell him where Eliza is? So the book said, "The straw in the farmyard is yellow and thick. Princess Eliza's disguised as a chick." So the book told the wizard that Princess Eliza is a chick. Oh dear, so the wizard found Princess Eliza again. He scooped Eliza up and took her to a cupboard which was full of yellow socks. Yuck! They all had holes in them made by his pointy toenails. "So you like yellow, do you?" he said, then set to work and done. And he locked her in. On Wednesday morning, the wizard unlocked the cupboard door, looked at the darned socks and grunted. "Chance number 3. So he's going to give Eliza another chance, he said. And he opened his book, closed his eyes and began to count. So Princess Eliza is going to escape again. Princess Eliza ran to the meadow. Meadow's a big field, okay, with all the grass. She changed herself into a green grasshopper and hid among the green blades. These are blades, okay? But the wizard read in his book, "The grasshopper princess is easily seen, chopping away in the meadow so green." Oh dear, the wizard's magic book told the wizard that Eliza is a grasshopper. So the wizard caught Eliza again. He caught Eliza in a net and took her to his green bathrooms. The bath, basin, walls and floors were covered in the wizard's slimy toothpaste. Yuck! "So you like green, do you?" he said, then set to work and wipe. And he locked her in. 3 more days went by. Each day the princess tried to escape. On Thursday, she turned herself into an orange fox and hid in a pile of orange leaves. On Friday, she turned herself into a purple butterfly and fluttered among some purple flowers. On Saturday, she turned herself into a black cat and lurked in a black tunnel. But each time the wizard found her and gave her yet more work to do. Oh dear. Will Princess Eliza escape? On Sunday morning, the wizard came onto the roof where Eliza had been scrubbing the sooty chimney pots. Instead of grunting, he laughed his horrible laugh. "Ha ha 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 ha! This is your last chance," he said. "If I catch you this time, you must stay and work for me for the rest of your life." Oh dear. Then he opened his book, closed his eyes and began to count. This is the last chance Eliza has, you know. Princess Eliza turned herself into a white gull. This is a white gull, white bird, okay, and flew up into a cloud. But as she hovered around above the roof where the wizard was still counting, so when she was flying above the roof at near the wizard, she saw words forming on the page of his open books. So Princess Eliza, who is this white girl, saw that, hey, there are words on the wizard's book. And so she thought, hey, so that's how he finds me, she cried. "I shall never escape." So Princess Eliza now knows that it's the wizard's magic book that tells the wizard where she is. So she had an idea. Then she had an idea. She turned herself into a page of the wizard's book. So she turned herself into a page of the wizard book. A perfectly blank white page with no writing on it. So she's going to turn into a blank page and she's going to be inside one of the wizard's book, okay? 98, 99, 100. The wizard finished counting and began to read his book. The princess turned into a bird in the sky. She hid in the cloud, then she had one more try. That was the end of the page. The wizard turned over to read more, but there was no more. The next page in his book was blank and white. You know why? Because this next page is actually Princess Eliza, right? Princess Eliza turned herself into a book, into a page that's blank and white. So the wizard flew into a rage. Rage, that means very, very angry. So he shouted, "You stupid book!" He shouted and he hurled it into the moat. He threw his book into the moat. The book landed with a splash and sank to the bottom. All the wizard's magic was gone. So now his book is wet and all the magic is gone. And so at that moment in the palace, the king and queen and all the party guests came back to life. "Where is Princess Eliza?" they asked each other. Nobody knew except the fairy godmother, and she only smiled and said nothing. Princess Eliza had turned herself from a white page into a blue fish and was swimming to the edge of the moat. Then she turned herself into a yellow chick and ran across the corn in the farmyard. Then she turned herself into a green grasshopper and hopped over the grass. Then she turned herself into an orange fox and raced through the orange leaves. Then she turned herself into a purple butterfly and fluttered over the purple flowers. Then she turned herself into a black cat and streaked through the black tunnel. Then she turned herself into a white bird and flew all the way back to the palace and through the window. She perched on a chair at the tea table and changed herself back into a princess. The king and queen and all the party guests hugged her. Not yet. Then Princess Eliza cut her birthday cake and everyone had a slice. The end.